Right, everything's back on just so I can do a first start and see if we have bent valves. Ready for the first start? Woo! She runs! Yay! Look at this sad looking bucket of turd. Right, so I have decided to start doing a little series, because it's not something I've done before, on taking a car from completely dead to fixed to different stages of tuning and different sorts of work on it. So this is a 2-litre BKD diesel Seat Leon, 140 horsepower I reckon. Actually asked. The previous owner thinks it may have had a tune at some point in his life, but I wasn't sure. But if it has, we're going to put it back to standard once we get it running and get it on the dyno and start from a fresh car. And then we're going to try and do this on a budget. I will kind of be cheating because none of the labour or tuning I'm going to count in the pricing, because I will be doing all that. So what we've got here is a 2005 or 6 Leon with a snapped Cambelt. So first things first, we're going to have to get the head off, check everything over. If the head is damaged, you'll probably never see this video because I'm not buying a new head. But other than that, we'll whack some valves in it, build it back up, standard spec, get her running, do very little, just the bare minimum to get it running, as in do it properly, but not going to service it or anything. We'll obviously have to change the oil and the coolant once we've done the work, but we're going to get it straight on the dyno to give us an idea of what it's doing, and then go from there. Hopefully it'll make a good little series, or help, you know, I'm going to try and do some bits and pieces that show people what's to be done. I'm not going to bother too much on the engine power. These BKDs have been done to death. There's people with like nearly 400 horsepower or over 400 horsepower on them. I'm not going to mess around with that too much. Look into electrical systems, what we can do with CAN systems, removal of ABS or removal of airbag systems, you know, without loads of warning lights on. The plan for it would be just to, you know, it's not really my thing, but maybe do some bits and pieces on it, chuck it around the track a couple of times and sell it. You know, it's just more of a little project for YouTube. So we'll say at the very beginning we currently have spent nothing, because if it needs a head, I've done a deal. If it actually needs a head, I'm not going to pay for it. It's just going to get sold or scrapped or whatever. But once I've stripped the head off, if it's okay, it will be a 150 pound car. And currently it is running 0 horsepower and 0 Newton meters of torque. So keep watching and we will go from here. Right, she's in and on the ramp. And I'm going to show you what I've found. So all I've done so far is taken off the timing belt cover. Cam cover, just want to let you know, it's nothing, it's very easy to take off. Load of bolts around it, all 30 Torxes. On the front side, or the pulley side, there's 3. On the rear there's 2, because you'd never get to the third one if there was. What we do is move that air pipe out of the way, disconnect the breather pipe. You should unbolt that charge pipe there, that air pipe there. But you can just push it back and it's very easy to get out. You lift it up slightly, then lift the rear end and go that way a little bit and out, because you've got those lipped bits that sit very slightly behind the pulleys. Anyway, but yes, the only reason that I've got that off, nothing to do with the repair as of yet, because we're going step by step, is I have no idea about this car. It's got a completely fat battery. I bought it off a friend who would have fixed it himself, but he just needed to get back on the road, so I bought another car. I didn't have time to sort this out. I didn't even ask the mileage. So all I know is he thinks it might have been remapped at some point in its life with the Cambelt snapped, and it was a nice car before it went wrong. But you can tell a lot by the state of the top of the cams, the inside of the cam cover. Maintenance wise, they get a lot of black gunk and stuff in there. This one's immaculate. While I was in there, had a look, see if I can see anything snapped. You can't see a lot in these anyway, everything's so deep inside because you've got the pump juice injectors. Anyway, back to what we're doing. So expecting to find a completely snapped cam belt, what I've actually found is it's very, very loose, but not snapped. Haven't gone any further than that. I thought I'd just show you guys. So what I'm going to do, put it on the air, strip some of the underside bits off and slowly turn it by hand and see if these, even though it's snapped, has it just slipped and are these still turning? There is a chance it's not done any damage. which is a slim chance, but if it hasn't, it obviously is a lot cheaper, and then I'd feel a bit guilty because it does belong to a friend. I'll see if he wants it back, or I can put it back together and, you know, for him, and see, because I have already got everything I need to do: valves, head gasket set, bolts, all the bits and pieces, but may not need them, may save quite expensive, save a bit of money. Let's find out. Right, first step is you make yourself some space at the top end. Right, those of you who've done this before or know the VW Audi C instructions on these, they say not to remove the filter and the bottle. All you need to really remove is the neck, is the washer neck. And even on Alternator, it comes in big capital letters: do not remove fuel filter. Right, well, if like me, you like space and to be able to see what you're doing, because it takes about, so all there is to get it off is 2 clip-on pipes there for the fuel filter, this is, and those 2 there have clips on them. You take them off. The coolant one is that one, and that one you take them out. So it's about a minute or 2 minutes extra work. In that minute or 2 minutes, for the rest of the job, you're saving yourself, like every time you try to get the fuel filter over there, it keeps flopping down. You've got the coolant reservoir there, it keeps flopping down. I just take them off. I like having a bit of room. Anyway, so that's why I've taken them out altogether. And look, nice, easy access. Once the engine mounts out, everything's a lot easier. No shit flopping around your way. So the next step would be taking off the alternator belt or the auxiliary belt. There is a special tool for this, apparently. I've never used it. It is a 16mm spanner will do it. You pull it back, there's a pin you can put in the little hole there. I can't hold the phone and show you, but trust me, when you pull it back, if I get the phone in the right position, there's a little pin. So let me see if I can do this for you. You can see the hole, and then let me see if I can show you that hole down there. So that hole meets that hole, you slide a pin in and you lock it. That's it. Easy peasy, that bit. Onwards. Don't have the right size pin? Find yourself a sturdy rivet, an Allen key, a bolt, whatever you like. It's fine. It's under a lot of tension, so it needs to be something strong. When you remove it, you can untension it if you want, but I just do it like that. Right, wheel off. It's been that a while. You don't have to take the wheel off. I see people do it without taking the wheel off and struggle. Why? It's 5 bolts. Just take them off. More importantly, then wheel arch liner out. What I like to do on these wheel arch liners, they've always got a bit of crud in all the T25s. If you give them just a tiny bit of brake cleaner or some sort of cleaner on each head of each bolt. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. Sorry, it's not great, so I need some light in there. And move the wing cover. If you can see the bolts, that one has already fallen out. Where have we got one there? One up there. Any more? There's one. Got him. There's probably some buried under this dirt up here, I'm not sure. Right. Yeah, give me a little spray. Look, that one's already dried out. And then you get a pick and clean them out, because people struggle around them off all sorts. Firstly, using the wrong size bits. These are T25s, not 20s or 27s. And secondly, they don't clear them out. All you got to do, give each one a few little taps just to clear the shit out of them. If that doesn't work, just get a pick in there, run it around, or get a T. You can use a 20 gently, or use a 15 and just spin it around and just clean out as much crap as you can. Then the bolts are fine, they're perfectly serviceable. You can carry on using them. There we go, right, I'll get on with this. Just want to show you something real quick. That wheel arch liner, which I've got out there, when you take these out, a bit of it basically sits butted up against this bit here. What you need to do is get something in, just pull the back down, and you can feed it backwards and pull it away from the lip of the wing. As you can see, someone on this one has done its Cambelt previously in its life, and it's got a little notch there in the wing because they've tried to lever it out. It's just fucking annoying. It's not, again, it's not brain surgery or rocket science. You know, you pull that bit down, it'll allow the whole lot to move very slightly backwards, and it'll just drop out. You have to sort that out. That'll annoy me forever. Right, next we'll pop this cover off. Obviously the belt is detensioned, the alternator belt. I'll take that off. Now what I could do is just literally pop that cover off, get to the crank bolt and turn the engine. I want to take the covers off first and see what's gone before I start manually turning it over, just out of curiosity more than anything. Then start turning it over and see how the cam pulleys turn. Gives an indication if damage is major, if there's none, whatever. So we still may be taking the head off, or we might be very lucky and not taking the head off. I'd imagine, you know, it's only fair if we have to take the head off. I didn't pay a lot for it. I haven't paid anything, like I say, for the car yet. Okay, so the cover's off. You've got the 4 pulley bolts and the main crank bolt. These pulley bolts, they are not Allen keys and they are not Torxes. I think the name is hex bolts. I've seen these with different stuff on them, but on this particular one, these are hex bolts. I've seen them with Allen keys on them and stuff like that. I don't have normal hex sockets. I've got hex repair sockets, basically ones for the damaged hexes. Well, I do have some normal ones, but I can't find them anyway. So if I can focus on that. So that is what a hex socket looks like. This kit is really good. It's from Mac Tools. You can use it for damaged Torxes and Allen keys as well. That's what a socket looks like, except for it shouldn't have those. Can it focus? There we go. It shouldn't have those rounded off, those smoothed out edges. It should be squared off all the way around for a normal one. But so bottom pulley's out. We can now see the crank sprocket or pulley, whatever you want to call it, and the covers. So what do we kind of want to do is get the tension around the way. Really take the engine mount off to remove the covers, but I think I'm just going to slide out the bottom cover and just see what I can see in there. So I was just here undoing, I've taken off the alternator belt tensioner, or auxiliary belt tensioner, sorry, and I was just taking off the centre timing cover. It's just 10mm hidden right under the engine mount, and a couple of 10mm towards the bottom, which I was going to raise it up in the air. I thought, well, I'm here, just going to have a quick look, because I haven't actually started looking at what's wrong yet. So that's the idler pulley, one of the idler pulleys. The smaller one, hard to see under that tensioner down there. See that small pulley? Right, that little fella, boop, 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 boop. Give me a little tickle, hello. You got your water pump just in here, there, and you have your tensioner. Now, looking at, like, you saw the shiny new bolts and stuff like that, they could be shiny because they've been there all the life. This belt doesn't look that old, in all honesty. Someone's done this belt. So while I just thought, well, I might as well just have a look, see what's going on. That is your tensioner. When you tension these up, you use the pointer system. So you've got a pointer, which I'm going to try and get my finger into view if I can. Where is my finger? There. That little silver guy there that looks like a pointy thing is your pointer. That slot there that looks like a slot is your alignment slot. That should be lined up with that, you know, and then it moves as it's per stroke. There's a bit of tension on it, but within, you know, close to that. Not there. That is the nut that tightens it all up. It's very hard to film. I do apologise for this, all my shocking YouTube videos, but yeah, that should not be loose. So that's what's caused the problem. Yeah. So let's see if we can time it up and see what damage it's done. So what I've done, I popped the belt. I just pulled this pulley off, popped the belt loose, moved the crank around a couple of times so I could move these freely, got them locked up with the pins there, that pin and that pin. Used the special tool for locking the crankshaft up and popped the belt back on and thought I'll retension it. Now I think I found the problem. I'm tightening the tensioner, it's just pulling the stud through, so I think the stud has come away from the block. But this might hold enough tension for me to be able to manually turn it over and see if I can feel for a decent amount of compression. Right, so getting the engine mount off to get this cambelt out, which obviously you see I've just done. So I left it, you leave it pinned up. You have the top part of the engine mount, so you've got a 13 at the back, 2 16s and 2 18s, nice and easy. Then you've got 3 16s holding this section in. Ideally you'd want to get this out, but they're so tight on space, you've got to move aircon pipes and check the engine right on, so it's okay, it'll wedge itself out of the way. You can get the belt out, get the tensioner out. And then, as you'll see, I've taken the stud for the tensioner out because I have found the final problem. Let's see if I can focus on this bad boy here. It's pulled the thread out of the head. So I'm going to have to helicoil this, which is a flipping pain in the balls. This is before I've even, got as far as taking the head off. I'm just literally going to throw a new tensioner on there and just see if it... I tensioned this up a minute ago as best I could and turned it over, and it felt like it had very good compression. So we'll see. So helicoiling something is a bit of a pain at the best of times, but into an aluminium cylinder head it's always a bit of a worry. You need to make sure you're going straight, which is very hard to do. Also, you don't want to go too far. The easiest way to do that is, so we know we need to go to there. So whack a bit of tape on our drill, and when we get to there, we know we're there. Let's see how I get on. Right, I've done my hole. Obviously there's a lot of swarf everywhere. We've got to clean that up after, but first we need to tap it to the size of our helicoil, and then put the coil in, and then put our bolt in. See how we get on. Well, we're in. Is it true, straight and true? I don't know. We'll find out when I go to put the stud in. So I've tapped my thread. So next we have to put in a helicoil, which is basically another piece of thread that you wind in, and it expands as you tighten in the part you're putting in, if that makes sense. So this winds into the thread I've just made, and the stud winds into that, and it stresses it out slightly. It grips it very, very well. That's our only real option besides replacing the cylinder head. So, onwards. For all we know, it may still need a cylinder head. Just wanted to add, I remembered what it's called. It's called a ribe socket, and I found where I'd put them in one of my many toolboxes. So I took it off and refitted it with that. Just thought I'd better add that to the... So anyone's like, don't use the wrong one, because you shouldn't use the wrong one when you're stuck. Sometimes you have to, but as long as you replace the bolts, it's no drama. My Cambelt kit, which is a very expensive, good one, really good quality Gates one, didn't come with new bolts, or indeed new studs for the idler, or the one that was a problem, the tensioner itself. It's a bit annoying. There we go. Right, everything's back on just so I can do a first start and see if we have bent valves. Ready for the first start? Woo! She runs! Yay! Right, enough of that bollocks. Of course that wasn't the first start. I had this running when it was in bits up on a jack holding the engine together. But I had so much going on I didn't want to film that at the time because I was trying to make sure the Cambelt wouldn't walk off, keep the jack steady, the engine was jacked right up against the bulkhead and stuff. You'd be fucking mad to put everything back together and to start it up again. To figure out, oh yeah, it's got bent valves. Didn't even have a rocker cover on it, was just, I put a bit of wood across the top just to stop oil going everywhere. It's all gone underneath instead. Right, so we have a good running vehicle. Time, I guess, to, well, should I road test it or should I run it up for a while and then set the torsional values? Let's road test it as it is. See what might even dyno it as it is, or shall I set it up and give it the best chance? I'm not sure. I want to give it a fair, as we do things, give it fair chances, so get it on the dyno after each bit of work and see what it does. I literally just noticed, because I had the airbox off to give me a bit more room, just turned the airbox off, I haven't opened it up, but noticed through the bottom the air filter was absolutely fucking filthy. So we'll see things like that, what sort of difference that will make. Here she is, up and running, outside. I haven't been for a spin yet, I've literally just driven it out of the workshop. So go around the bodywork because it's going to be a little project. Some bits I want to sort out, not too much of the bodywork. I don't know if that's from the AA man was pushing the box a bit or somebody was pushing it. Blaming the AA, sorry, I have great respect for those guys. A couple of dents on the side here that I'll probably sort out. Needs a bloody good clean. It's been sat for ages. Amount of corrosion that's already come off the brakes there just from backing out of the workshops. Happy enough. Don't like that. Yeah, all in all, I think these are a quite nice looking machine. They run up for a while. The cooling system work. I don't know if I'm going to bother giving it a wash just yet. I'll see. So I'm out for a drive now. It's driving fine. Unfortunately, well, I suppose it has no effect to the previous owner, but he'd been told it had some stuff done to it, such as the EGR delete, DPF delete, and a remap. Well, there's no signs of any of that. All of it is operational, working, and it's certainly not remapped. It's got a maximum torque limitation of 360 Newton meters. So, what I need to do now, and also, since I'm now, it has got a traction control light, a brake pressure sensor fault, which I'm going to need to look into. I don't know if the previous owner knew about that, but that's a new development since it's been sat so long. So what I'm going to have to do is look into all those things. Oh, and it's got a terrible diff line. It goes about as you'd expect for a standard 140. Yeah, no real power, but moves along all right, no problems. 70, 80-ish, 80 now. No traffic lights, no roundabouts. No speed cameras.